few things I want to mention before we go into the fight. This was originally a double showcase where I also highlighted the new boss, but due to spoiler complaints I've decided to cut that out and I'll be making it into its own video. So this one is spoiler free. Do keep an eye out for my breakdown of the new boss and how Seed performs against it. For this showcase, I hard capped myself to 35 substats on Seed and SAnby both, with Trigger having 29 substats. Given Seed set as a new one, I thought this to be an apt restriction to use. When each one came out, a lot of Miasmic pre-skills had 35 substat each ones very early on, so while it may seem steep, I find it to be a reasonable benchmark. You will get better scores with more substats, and in fact a lot of the runs out there, be it creator server or the illicit kind, are rocking 39 to 40 substats. Seed comps in particular really care for this, because you don't just need subs on Seed, you need subs on the Vanguard too. Even if you do run them as supports, like with Astra Voice, Swing Jazz, Proto Punk, you name it, they are still contributing non-negligible amounts of damage. This is especially true on fights with higher stun damage percent multipliers. Now, it's okay to run Energy Regen D6 on Vanguards. In fact, I find that for Astra teams, or really any non-stunner team, this can work out better depending on the character. Since there's fewer in-stun burst opportunities for the Vanguard, a lot more damage comes from just on-fielding Seed out of stun. But even then, building the Vanguard with strong damaging substats feels like a big deal. The showcase here is using a full M0P1 Seed Trigger SAnby comp, and I wasn't struggling too much for energy on critical periods with my rotations, so SAnby was built for damage instead of energy regen, but still, she was built. I should also mention that scores must be taken in with nuance. They may seem mediocre, but I find it to be pretty good, even if it may not look like it. Last time we had UCC, he had 89 million health. The one on this showcase has over 116 million. That means a score of 54,000 on this boss would have been a kill last time around. So don't look at Seed scores and be disappointed by them, because other teams would be struggling too. Admittedly, Orphe isn't out yet, and we may be seeing a repeat of Samby's release, with us not having the whole team bundle out at once, so performance may be better with her. All this yapping is to say, take this video as a showcase on how Seed plays, and a proof of concept on potential routes for a fight. Nothing more. Enough words. Let's see how she does. Allow me to crash out for a moment. I will die on the hill that Unknown Corruption Complex is easily one of the most obnoxious fights to grind. You want a dose of inconsistent hitboxes that mess with your dodge counters? You got it. How about a mechanic that needs it to be hitting one specific leg, but then make a horrific targeting system that continuously gets you to lock onto the wrong ones? And did I mention that if you break one leg, all of the others heal and get harder to break, so splitting damage between them is a waste? Oh, and let's not have any visual indicator on how close it is to breaking, so that players always end up getting a break by accident on the wrong character. Actually, let's go one step further and make it so that this hulking mass of steel is also one of the most agile bosses in the game, constantly twirling around so that it's even harder to break its legs. Better yet, it shouldn't just twirl, it should jump back in such a way that characters completely whip their attacks. And do it again and again. Since we're at it, make it just jump, like fully invulnerable. In the span of 30 minutes, I had this happen not just once or twice, but 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. I stopped saving these at some point because it was just getting ridiculous. With Seed, these things get even worse. You want to focus damage on a singular leg, but Seed's damage from her beams frequently pierces the legs, so half your damage hits one and half hits another. This means you need to constantly reposition or just pray for good luck while softening up the legs. Softening them up with her reacts is a pain too. The rockets do lock onto a leg, which is good, but they also fly up and to the sides, which means they frequently deal damage to the wrong leg. It's not all bad, as the burst damage, which comes from the enhanced basic attack Falling Paddle's Downfall, does target correctly. Issue is, Seed dashes back before going into the slam. When it all lands in full, you're almost guaranteed to get a leg break, either with it or shortly after, but the problem is that sometimes it won't land in full. It feels like the distance causes UCC to turn around, so it misses the leg you're targeting. And UCC body parts, like its forearm or its tail, are obstructions that get in the way. So you can use Downfall on Seed, but because UCC was doing a tail slam, that body blocks Seed and she hits the tail, not the leg, which then means that you've done no damage to the leg, and it won't break in time for the stun. It's also much easier to accidentally break a leg when you don't want to, because Seed teams are dual damage teams. You're doing damage with Seed and with SAnby, even out of stun. Most of the time, Downfall will break the leg, but that means you aren't swap cancelling out of Seed during it. And if it doesn't break the leg, well, now you're kind of locked onto Seed, period. Maybe you need 5 more dodge counters on a full basic string, or maybe a sneeze would be enough to break it. There was one time where I swapped the trigger mid-aftershock and that broke the leg. I'm actually traumatized. It's really weird that every limited electric damage dealer has issues with this boss. How to master this instant damage, which means his traditional team with Chingy struggle to break legs before stuns. Yanagi's anomalies and disorders don't count for leg damage. SAnby's aftershocks only target the main body, not the legs, so she also struggles in breaking them. And now Seed, with attacks that frequently target or hit incorrect legs or don't hit them at all. Admittedly, she is probably one of the better electric agents when it comes to interacting with UCC's mechanics, but this time around I had such consistently bad luck with its moveset that I'm left defeated. Is it possible to further optimize the rotation or execute it better for higher scores? Absolutely. Was I going to spend hours molding over it? Absolutely not. Now that I've crashed out, let's actually talk about the routing I thought up for this fight. The start is pretty simple, run in with trigger and build up her gauge in full. It's good to use a double quick assist tech here, as it helps Seed build an extra bit of steel charge and gives decibels, which is very important. From there it's pretty simple. Most of UCC's attacks, be it his beams, swipes, or slams, always end up happening as Seed is ending her 3rd basic attack string, giving you a free dodge counter. Depending on how the beam goes, you can even loop 2 basic strings and get them both to automatic dodge. Practically autoplay. Either way, the goal here is to just build enough steel charge for an enhanced basic downfall. If you see UCC is about to do a red flash attack, stay on Seed for a bit until you get it, as that lets you swap the SAnby with a free dodge counter, giving great silver star mark buildup. You can often get 2 with 1 attack on UCC, which is enough to max it out. Otherwise, just swap and do a few attacks and dodge counters manually. If Seed landed the enhanced basic downfall on full, a few specials on SAnby should be enough to leg break. And that's if Seed landed the enhanced basic downfall in full and on the right body part. We do want SAnby to have the leg break and not Seed, since we can use anomalies to build up decibels while on fielding. Once the leg breaks, you can either swap the Seed straight away or stay on SAnby a bit. Try to have the anomaly bar a little over 3/4 full, as a Seed EX into the punch should trigger shock, giving you a nice decibel bonus. A single full basic string helps build a little bit more steel charge, after which we swap to SAnby for an EX, which both builds enough steel charge for another enhanced basic downfall and applies a good amount of anomaly. Doing a few more SAnby dashes helps us squeeze some more out of stun damage and refreshes the 4P Shadow Harmony in time for the stun. The daze is high, so we'll swap the trigger for an EX, after which we go straight to Seed and begin our stun combo. If you want a detailed breakdown of it, I've got it all covered on a Seed combo guide, but do keep in mind it has spoilers of the new boss. I do get a bit unlucky with the Bang Boo here, as Gulliver shoots just before I go into the chain with Trigger, building up Anomaly too fast. We don't actually want Trigger to shock here, as we need the decibels from the second Anomaly to go to Seed. Most of the time it works, sometimes it doesn't. It tends to ride on how much and when your Bang Boo gets knocked around by UCC. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out this run, leaving Seed just 10 decibels off her ultimate. One more quick assist or perfect dodge would have been enough in decibel bonuses. Now do you understand why that double quick assist on the opener is important? It's okay though, as we want to be using a basic attack after chain to reapply Trigger's debuffs anyways, so just going into the second hit gives enough decibels to link into Seed's ultimate. After it's done, we go into the enhanced basic downfall and burst of SAnby, and since we gave her the leg break, it doesn't matter that she's lacking in energy here, as we can use her ultimate and have plenty of time to fit everything in. With the first stun done, the rest of the run more or less falls into place. We want Seed to get 2 shock anomalies and 1 leg break between every stun. Since Seed is the one meant to get the breaks now, do not swap cancel out of her enhanced basic downfall. Make sure she's landing finishes and getting the bonuses. After the first stun, Trigger should be getting her ultimate, and we want to speed through to the second stun as fast as we can. I made a mistake here as I shouldn't have wasted time refilling Purge and should have used Trigger's EX instead. I'm not sure if you've noticed it, but Seed's buff is about to run out. For it to refresh, we need to use an EX on SAnby, but we don't want to use it up before stun, as otherwise she won't have enough energy to burst. In my case, I was quite literally just a second too late, so Seed's buff dropped. This is reapplied to SAnby's EX, which I use at the very start of the enhanced basic downfall, so surely it's still all good, right? Heck, the siege icon shows up, so that means Seed did get the buff. But not quite. The buff only takes effect when the character is active. Although it lingers when they swap off field, you still need to swap to them first, so the entirety of this opener burst went unbuffed. I did mean it when I said the route could be executed better. Thankfully, it does get reapplied when chaining to Seed, and just to point it out, it's at this point we get our second shock anomaly on Seed. We're still ways away from 3000 decibels here though, so we do a final chain on SAnby to generate the extra decibels we need for Seed. 3 special casts to top up in decibels, a swap to Seed for her ultimate, and 1 more enhanced basic downfall. We don't want to use EX on SAnby before the ultimate, as we'll need as much buff uptime as we can post-stun. So after Seed is done bursting, we have just enough time to fit a SAnby EX special and the 3 special dashes before the stun ends. Now rinse and repeat. 2 anomalies and a leg break on Seed, then a stun burst combo. The first anomaly comes fast, as usual, as does the leg break. I get quite lucky here with a parable attack on UCC. This singular parry means we don't have to be first with SAnby chains and stun. Since we had a late EX on SAnby, there's still time left on the buff, and the third stun begins just after we get the second shock. I do, however, mess up here and manual chain for too long. SAnby's EX should have triggered a chain, but it didn't, so I do it with her dashes instead. But I mess up again, and trigger a chain with a second instead of the third dash, so no Thunder's Might. Oh well, we go into chains and we get to skip SAnby's as we have plenty of decibels. From there, it's business as usual. At this point, it's hard to line up anomalies, as if you want to fit in all of SAnby's bursts in the stun window, he's likely going to be getting the anomaly instead of Seed, so it won't be possible to feed Seed 2 shocks before the next stun. They shouldn't be too big a problem though, as 1 shock on Seed combined with Trigger's EX and SAnby's chain can be just about enough to generate enough decibels. It doesn't take too long to break a leg, and then we can make use of Trigger's ultimate to speed through to the stun. Just make sure to have enough steel charge on Seed in time for it, as it can be a bit difficult to keep up with how fast Ace builds. When the stun begins, it's the usual combo, although with a SAnby chain thrown in to help build enough decibels. From there, try to squeeze in as much damage as you can. Really, just pray for crits. And that's the run, which in my case, scored just over 53,000. There's still a lot of room for improvement. On the final stun, SAnby is a little short on energy for an EX. On-fielding her just a little could build enough. If we up our substats to 40, that should be another 5 to 7% in damage, so it could go even higher. And I haven't really found a way to reliably break the remaining 2 legs in time. Sometimes I could get 2 breaks before the first stun, but it was inconsistent, and even then there'd still be 1 leg left. So refining the route further could open up even more score gains. I don't see it killing without Mindscapes, but I think it has a lot of potential. Overall, I think Seed is pretty darn strong. She does good out-of-stun damage without sacrificing burst potential. Her buffs are very strong, and she doesn't invalidate other characters' kits and rotations. Health values for bosses are getting pretty absurd now, and I have an inkling that she will likely perform a lot better with her full premium team once we get that. But this doesn't detract from what's a strong character who can be played both as a main damage unit, or even just fall back on being an Astra replacement. And she feels very important for the new boss, whose moveset and AI I'll be breaking down in detail while also showcasing a potential route to follow with Seed. So do like, share, subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified for when that drops. I've got more videos coming. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.
What? are one with the wind.
Right on cue.